Hi, my name is Kristen and my practice is well balanced. I deal with bringing the body, mind, and spirit back together to walk into wholeness of who you're designed to be. And so I do work a lot with trauma clients. And so often in trauma, we get paralyzed by fear, right? We cannot even think about possibly revisiting that horrific situation that happened to us back in the past or just recently or whatever it is. Like, our body literally freezes up. And so often I get clients in that are like, I cannot experience any more pain. I cannot experience the emotions. And I always say, I honor that. And that is going to be between you and God. So my practice is very intuitive and very led by everybody's intentions, their little prayer in their heart for what they want healing for. So I was working with this client, and it was such severe trauma that I just had to just really walk slowly into each stretch, into each position. And when I did Reiki, everything was really soft and really gentle. I started to just, of course her fear was just huge, as all of us who go through trauma. And so I started to just tell her, hey, let's hold on a minute. Let's take a break. So I had her just take a deep break. And I said, why don't you put your hand on your heart if you want to? So she did. She put her hand on her heart. And I said, start breathing in slowly. I said, feel your heart. Feel how it feels. Give thanks to your heart for what it's done for you. And so just feel it. So just breathe. And I said, now, and if you watch any of my videos, I do this all the time. Now see your heart breathing like a lung, breathing in and out. So now you're going to picture your heart actually like your lung, your breath of life, right? And then I said, now start breathing in love, unconditional love. Think of someone or something you love unconditionally. Feel what that feels like. So we started to do that practice. And I said, exhale that love to others. And I said, now breathe in that love for yourself. Feel what that feels like. And now exhale that love to that little girl who had so much trauma. See it surrounding her and changing her. Inhale it again for you now, for where you're at. Exhale it to that little girl. Inhale it here, exhale it to this part of your life. Inhale it, exhale it, inhale compassion, exhale. So we started doing that, and I said, every time you inhale love, which is God, and you exhale it to a situation, you are doing the best thing ever to change anything. You are asking the divine to come in and change. And so I said, so you see, the paralyzed fear doesn't need to be paralyzing. Because when we come into love, when we come into compassion for ourselves, when we come into acceptance of what is, and truly loving ourselves for all that we've been through, like literally most of you guys out there, me, myself, like if I were to sit there and listen to all the things I went through in my life as a bystander, as a friend, and I sat there and told someone about my life, they would go, oh my gosh, and they give me so much love, but for some reason for ourselves, we just think we shouldn't feel this, or we should be better, we should be moving on, or why is this coming up in my life, or why am I having such a hard time moving forward, or any of those things. Those are actually, those thoughts will always keep us stuck, and they will take us backwards. But if we can have one piece of courage to breathe in love for ourselves, breathe in God's love, breathe in anything that you feel unconditional love for, that is God's love. And then you give it out. And unconditional love is so rich, and it is so beyond our comprehension that it's hard to really feel what that would feel like. But we need to do that for ourselves in order to heal. Accept the tragedy and the trauma that you went through. Accept when you were little and you were the one that was holding your family together, or you lost a sibling, or you were molested, or you were put up for adoption, or you were abused physically, sexually, emotionally. Anything that you went through, send it love, and really look at what a little person your age, like for me, when my sexual abuse happened, I was 5. When I look at a 5-year-old, I think no 5-year-old should go through that. And then when I look at a 3-year-old, my dad left the family when I was 3. I mean, my parents got divorced. He didn't leave and say, but I didn't really see him after that, and until we got older. And so when I look at like a 3-year-old, 5-year-old, and I look at that and I go, wow, I would have so much compassion for a little child going through that. We need to do the same with our traumas and our wounds. Heal it by giving God's love to it. Heal it by seeing yourself surrounded as a little girl. See Jesus holding you. See God surrounding you. See yourself moving in a healing direction as a little child, even through the trauma. Same goes with anything that in our current life. Like when I was a young adult, my mom actually was diagnosed bipolar, and I had a 4-month-old. I think my second child was 4 months at the time. We couldn't find my mom, and we didn't know where she was. And at this time, my dad actually, my biological dad, was coming to visit us, and I was like, oh my gosh, we cannot find mom, and my dad's coming. We don't want to like let him know what's going on with her. Like, my mom's missing, you know. I didn't want to paint a bad picture for my mom, but I was in this place of like more trauma, and we could not find her. And it was this whole charade of trying to be sweet with my dad coming in and spending time with him. And I had a newborn and all this stuff, and also trying to find my mom. Long story short, we actually somehow we called a bunch of hospitals, and she had checked herself into St. Luke's, which has a mental part to it. And so I remember my dad was visiting, and we're like, well, we just got to go visit mom. She's in the hospital and she's just getting a checkup. That's what we said. So we went and we visited my mom, and I had never been so scared before because it had been coming up, but she had totally checked out of reality at this point. She had had a psychotic break, basically. And when I walked into St. Luke's, I was still totally remember she was wearing high heels with stretch leggings and a big pink shirt, and she had a cigarette hanging out of her, and she was playing pool with a man in this place. And I remember thinking, what? I couldn't process everything. This is my mom, and she's always had been such a great support for me in my life, and to see her so down was really traumatic. The reason why I'm telling that story is there was a lot of things that happened in my life that truly traumatized me, and to not have your mom, your rock, your person who walked through your entire life be all there was very traumatic. And I had young kids, and I needed her, you know, support. And anyways, she was just my person that I went to for a lot of things. So when I never dealt with that, and then also I'm not trying to make this a me show, but I'm just pulling from my own experiences. There was another time in my life that my mom actually, she had an operation. She went and got a tummy tuck. And I remember thinking, oh gosh, I hope it goes all right. But you know, I mean, you know, people do these things all the time. So I didn't really think about it. Long story short, she passed away, and I had actually been visiting her in the hospital at that time. And the story, how that happened was, I was home with the kids, and I was just thinking, well, I'll go pick up mom tomorrow morning at 6:45 in the morning, and I get this, you know, download that, no, go see her tonight. And I was like, oh, that's weird. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go see her tonight. Thank God I did. I feel like God prompted me. I went, and that was when she actually passed. And I was there for her, but she passed. She actually turned blue and purple and all that stuff right in front of me. And I remember just shoving that down as well. And so I look back to all of us have trauma. Nobody can get through this life without feeling a sense of loss or pain or something that rocks our world. The trick is, you don't want to stay there. You don't want to stay in that victim. You don't want to stay reliving that. You want to tell yourself this too shall pass, and that we can send love to. So I send love to that little girl who in my life, you know, for me, I sent love to her when I was healing myself. Just about 4 years ago is when all my trauma started coming up, and I sent love to that young woman who saw her mom be checked into a mental hospital, and we couldn't find her for days, and that was scary. And then to even see her walk into wholeness again was a very long, difficult path. And I'm raising young kids, and you know, worried about my mom, and it was just so difficult. I had so much trauma, and then also seeing my mom die in front of me. It was just, you know, these times in life that we all are going to go through, and yet I sent love to each of those areas. And then what I did was I called my spirit back. So this is another thing you can do if you have trauma. Call your spirit back to you. So I would call my spirit back from that little girl who had such a traumatic childhood. with alcoholic parents and molestation, all that stuff. I called back and said, thank you very much for all the lessons you've taught me back then. I call my spirit back to me to become whole so I can use my spirit, my energy now to heal. And I release the past and I thank it for what it taught me. Did the same with all the different things in my life. And I started to call my spirit back to me, call everything back to me so that I can have the wholeness and the wellness to walk forward in the newness of who I am. Again, all of our stories are convoluted. I try not to get too much into my own stories, but that's just the best way I can relate to all you out there who possibly are going through things as well, that this too shall pass. Send love to yourself now. Send love to yourself, the person who was suffering in the past. Give compassion, grace. Breathe in and out through your heart. So see yourself surrounded. See Jesus. See the Spirit holding you and protecting you. Call your spirit back to you. Release the past. Tell it thank you for what it taught you, but it no longer serves you to keep reliving that, and move forward into the newness. I'm hoping that that video was helpful for you, and that if anything, just send love to yourself and walk in the newness of who you're designed to be. Thank you and have a great day.